Hello and welcome to the Best and Worst Pictures podcast. I'm your host, Jake, and with me, as always, my good co-host, Ian.
Yeah.
And joining us, as per usual, is my other equally as good co-host, Mud. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, Jake?
I'm wonderful. Well, what is this show, you might ask? Well, every so often we sit down and watch a Best Picture winner, and we decide if it's one of the best or worst pictures as compared to the other winners. And this week, we are, of course, discussing the 46th Best Picture winner ever, which is, of course, none other than the hit 1973 classic, The Sting. And to start us off, Mud has collected some fun facts, which Ian and I have not heard at a time. So, Mud, take it away.
Thank you, Jake. So The Sting was released on December 25th, 1973 by Universal Pictures and has a runtime of 129 minutes.
Oh, just a little bit over 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. It has an 8.3 out of 10 IMDb, 92% Rotten Tomato critics, 95% Rotten Tomato audience, 83 Metacritic score, and 8.1 Metacritic audience score.
That's pretty fucking good.
It's pretty good all across the board. Although I think the Rotten Tomatoes log line is very telling. Let me read this for you, boys.
Please.
Paul Newman, Robert Redford, and director George Roy Hill proved that charm, humor, and a few slick twists can add up to a great film.
A few slick twists. Okay.
That's it. That's the Rotten Tomato log line. That's,
You know what? Doesn't tell you everything you need to know about the movie. That's good.
It's also a very neutral statement, I feel. It's very much, hey, it's a good film.
Yeah, it's all right.
So let's get on to the cast and crew. Starting with our director, George Roy Hill. His other work includes Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, as well as Slaughterhouse-Five.
Both classics.
Yep. Speaking of classics, he's actually the uncle of Tim Hill, the director of Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties.
Woo!
Why? Why is he his uncle?
Moving on to the cast, first up we have Paul Newman, who was in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Naturally.
Why is he his uncle? Sorry, that just hit me. That's not the question you should be asking, but that just delayed hit me.
Yeah.
Go on.
He's also in the Cars series as Doc Hudson.
Hey!
Yeah, here's a fun fact for you about Paul Newman. He competed in the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1979.
Oh,
That's
wow.
pretty sick.
Yeah, he came in second on the Dick Barber racing team.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, second place at the 24 Hour of Le Mans.
That's pretty cool.
He's going to be in the sequel to Ford versus Ferrari.
He could be.
Up next, we have Robert Redford.
Woo.
Another
staple.
A staple, an iconic actor in filmmaking.
Yeah.
Also in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yep.
He's also in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. in a couple films. He's in Out of Africa, which we'll be watching for this series.
we will.
He's in All the President's Men, which we might... Are we
Nope.
watching? Nope.
No.
Nominated, though, I
Nominated.
believe.
Yep.
And A Bridge Too Far, a classic war film. And of course, a fun fact about him, I'm pretty sure everyone knows this. Actually, I'm not sure everyone knows this because I didn't know this for a really long time. He was the founder of Sundance Film Festival, named after his character in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Interesting.
Oh,
I didn't know
I get
he
it.
founded it, but I knew
I
the name.
knew he was
founders,
one of
yeah.
the founders.
One of the founders, I should say. Lastly, we have Robert Shaw.
Another Robert?
Yep, he was in Jaws. He was the king in A Man for All Seasons.
Mm.
And this is my favorite one. He was in From Russia with Love.
Who?
He's the bad guy. The not Bond, the Russian dude who tries to kill Bond.
That is him?
That's Robert
Holy
Shaw.
shit.
My favorite Russian, Robert Shaw.
His character's name is like Red Grant or something.
Yeah.
Something stupid.
That's crazy.
Hugh Grant.
Anyways, fun fact about him. He had 10 kids. 8 biological, 2 adopted. Motherfucker couldn't pull out of a parking lot.
You know what? That's not even the most. Nick Cannon vying for that top spot.
He really is.
Oh my god.
Him and
Nick
Genghis Khan are almost tied.
Cannon. Nick Cannon, calm down.
So, some other films that came out this year include Live and Let Die, the first Roger Moore James
Banger.
Bond. Papillion, the original Papillion.
Yep.
The Exorcist.
Yep.
Soylent Green, which we watched for the channel.
Banger.
Mm-hmm.
The Wicker Man, the original Wicker Man.
Mm-hmm.
American Graffiti, George Lucas'
Also-
second directorial film.
Also, supposedly a banger.
Yep. Enter the Dragon, which I believe is the film that blew up Bruce Lee in America,
Yes.
right?
Yep. Very one of the big ones.
Yep.
Really,
yes.
really good.
Westworld with Yul Brynner, which is the film that
Yep.
the show is based on.
Yep.
Walking Tall, The Three Musketeers, Jesus Christ Superstar, which I love.
Jesus Christ Superstar is really good.
That's a fucking hilarious film. The original Charlotte's Web, The Way We Were, and Serpico. So for production facts, here's some fun facts about how the film was made. Shaw's choice to have his character limp was not a choice he made. He injured his leg a week before filming and had to wear a knee brace.
That's tough.
Yep. Robert Redford claimed that he never saw the complete film until 2004.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Universal Studios was actually hesitant to sign both Newman and Redford as the leads. The film's drama centers around deceit and betrayal, and executives were worried that the famously friendly Newman and Redford wouldn't really be taken seriously by audiences as possible adversaries.
Mm-hmm.
They were just so well known as being friends. Producer Julia Phillips made history as the first woman to be nominated for and win Best Picture with this.
Okay.
First
Lovely.
female producer.
Hell yeah.
George Roy Hill also made history as the first director to ever direct multiple films to gross over $100 million with this and Butch Cassidy. 100 million gross.
Listen, that's like
Yep.
$50 trillion but due to inflation. You know?
I know. I just love that fact.
That's amazing.
The production of this film actually did not get off to a good start. George Roy Hill actually reshot the entire first week of filming because he was so dissatisfied with what they had gotten.
Okay.
And this is one of the only 2 Best Picture winners to not have been nominated for a Best Picture category at the Golden Globes.
Huh.
That's strange.
The
Okay.
other
What's
one,
I was just about to ask.
Crash. So let's get on to some award show facts. Marvin Hamlisch, the film's composer, took home 3 Academy Awards this evening. He was at the time the 3rd person to ever take home 3 or more awards, and the only person to date who's taken home that many awards and not taken home Best Picture, because he's just a musician.
You said he's a composer. Did he take home 3 composing-related awards?
He received Best Scoring, Original Song and Score, Adaptation or Scoring, Adaptation for The Sting, Best Song for The Way We Were, and Best Original Dramatic Score for The Way We Were,
that's
which is
bullshit.
a different category from Best Scoring, Original Song or Scoring, Adaptation or Scoring, Adaptation.
So they're
That is
separated-
a shit title for a category.
It
they're
has
separated
2 different
by
colons.
genre.
So it's Best Scoring, Original Song Score and Adaptation or Scoring, Adaptation.
What?
I don't know.
I'm down because modern day original score and original song are 2 very different things. That's cool.
Yeah, but
Original dramatic score? Fuck you. That's the same.
Best scoring for a comedy or drama. You remember
Yeah.
that fucking category?
That's a real golden
wildly
Globes
different.
hunk of shit right there.
So, with 10 nominations, The Sting and The Exorcist entered the night tied as the most nominated. With 7 wins, The Sting left the champion. Katharine Hepburn made her first and only appearance at the Academy Awards this year to present the Irving G. Thalberg Award. Every other time that she'd been nominated or won, she had someone associated with the production of the film accept the award on her behalf. She never went to them. Tatum O'Neal, at age 10, won Best Supporting Actress this night, the youngest ever to win an acting nomination.
Wild.
And actually setting a record, John Houseman, that is his actual last name,
It's a good name.
winning Best Supporting Actor at age 71, set the precedent for the biggest gap between winning actors.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. 61 years is a long time.
Yep. Yul Brynner presented Best Foreign Language Film.
Love Yul Brynner.
Jack Lemmon presented an honorary award to Groucho Marx.
And I love Jack Lemmon, but Groucho Marx?
Yeah.
The real man?
Yeah.
The glasses himself?
Yeah. And then this one I pulled straight from Wikipedia. I got to read this.
Oh, please.
The 46th Academy Awards ceremony is perhaps best remembered as the ceremony in which a streaker named Robert Opel ran across the stage naked while flashing a peace sign with his hand. In response, David Niven, the host of the Oscars, jokingly quipped, "Isn't it fascinating to think that probably the only laugh that man will ever get in his life by stripping off and showing his shortcomings?"
Ooh.
James Bond with the roast.
Absolute devastation.
That
from David
almost
Niven.
makes up for Casino Royale, the bad one.
I
Damn.
know.
Almost.
Almost.
So
Damn.
let's get on to awards nominated. Ronald Pierce and Robert R. Bertrand were nominated for Best Sound. They lost to The Exorcist, going to Robert Knudsen and Chris Newman.
Way too many Roberts.
I know. Robert Sturges
Oh my god.
was nominated for Best Cinematography. He lost to Cries and Whispers against Sven Nykvist. Robert Redford was nominated for Best Actor. He lost to Jack Lemmon for Save the Tiger.
You know what though? Jack Lemmon won.
Other losses include Marlon Brando, Last Tango in Paris, Jack Nicholson, The Last Detail, Al Pacino, Serpico. What a fucking year.
And Jack
Incredible.
Lemmon, right up at the top, our guy.
This was Robert Redford's only nomination for Best Actor.
Wow. I
That's
wouldn't have guessed
surprising.
Redford was the only actor nominated here who was also in a Best Picture.
I mean, best acting isn't necessarily.
No, I know.
you
It's just
yeah.
like that's very rare.
It is.
So let's move on to Awards 1. Returning face William H. Reynolds, the editor for The Godfather, won Best Film Editing. Among others nominated was Marcia Lucas for American Graffiti. Best art direction went to Henry Bumstead art direction and James W. Payne set decoration. David S. Ward won Best Story and Screenplay based on factual material or material not previously produced or published.
What?
It is known today as Best Original Screenplay.
Yep, a much better and succinct title.
Returning champion of names, Edith fucking Head.
I love Edith Head.
Won Best Costume Design.
Yep, you
Yep.
already know.
George Roy Hill took home Best Director, beating George Lucas for American Graffiti, Ingmar Bergman for Cries and Whispers, William Friedkin for The Exorcist, and Bernardo Bertolucci for The Last Tango in Paris.
Damn, that is a man who is Italian.
Stacked year.
Yeah.
And finally, it won Best Picture, beating American Graffiti, Cries and Whispers, The Exorcist, and A Touch of Class. And to celebrate our favorite Best Costume Designer,
Head.
I'm doing an Edith Head fact.
I love head facts.
Over her lifetime, Edith Head received 35 nominations in the Best Costume category and 8 wins. This year was win number 8 for her. This was the last time she won. Her only other win for a Best Picture winner we have already watched. Do you guys remember it?
Greatest Show on Earth.
No.
Fuck. There's a lot of costumes in that one.
You're close. It's in the 50s. I'll give you
Gigi.
I'll give you each one more.
Tom Jones.
No.
Well, the only 50s one coming to mind is Ben-Hur. I know it's not that.
Nope. 1951's All About Eve.
I love that movie.
Had good costumes.
So good.
And with that wraps up our fun facts for this film.
So
I
it
know
does.
we normally do a Mary Pickford fact, but I really appreciate the head fact. Thank
I
you.
had to. I was like, oh, this is the last time she won. I gotta shout her out.
We're probably gonna mention her name at least five more times.
She's been a consistent in this show for almost as long as Mary Pickford has.
Edith Head is the Vera West of the Best Picture.
Yes.
100%.
Vera West, all of the best costumes for the Monster-thon until like the 60s.
Like
Yeah.
seriously, like I would say Edith Head's been a pretty consistent character in this series. Mary Pickford has. The movie Jesus Christ Superstar has, for some reason. I've talked about that film a few other times.
There's a lot of you will notice
Gaslight in the 40s.
We're gonna talk about David Lean more in the 80s as well.
Yeah.
And we talked
So-
about him a lot in the 50s.
So I know this probably isn't very fair to The Sting because it's not that movie's fault at all, but this really just does feel like a commercial break between the Godfather show.
It does, dude. And the research I did is just screaming at me. Yep, this was a film. This is
All
a
right,
film.
but I've only heard good things.
Yeah,
And-
but I've also only ever heard good things about The French Connection.
yeah, but
it's a
now
great
to
movie.
be fair, who did you hear those from? The movie has French in the title. It's not going to be good.
Ian, shut up.
That's a great movie. Excuse you.
French
But-
Connection? Really?
Yeah.
It was all right.
No, it was kind of
It was
mid.
decent. All right. You hear our mixed thoughts on that in that own show. But anyway, this movie, I just want more Godfather, man. Like, it's weird because the first one was incredible, and I hear the second one's either as good or better. It's hard to,
We'll find out next time,
We'll
but
find out
right
next
now we
time.
got to watch The Sting.
I just got to get through this thing, and maybe, just maybe, this movie will surprise me, hit me, and be like, wow, what a great entry in the Best Picture saga. But if this is disappointing, I'll be like, why did we stop the Godfather momentum for this?
To be fair, this movie's only a brisk 2 hours.
A brisk
compared
2
to-
hours.
Compared to 3.5 and then
Yes.
three
the
and a half.
brisk 3.5
Yeah,
hours
exactly.
that was The Godfather.
That's true. That's true.
So we just watched The Sting. How are we feeling?
Amazing.
Better than expected.
Better
That
than
was-
expected.
Dude, holy shit.
Honestly, I came in not negative, but lukewarm because it's the middle child of the Godfathers. But as far as commercial breaks go, man, this is a good fucking movie.
Thoroughly entertained.
This is
Yeah.
better than I thought it would be.
Oh,
So,
my
I just wanna say-
word.
yeah, who wants to start?
Me, pick me.
Get in there, Chief.
All right, perfect script. Holy smokes, dude. Every little twist and turn, every little plot detail, all the characters that we get introduced to matter. They're important. They have growth. You see them twist each other, turn each other. Characters that you don't expect to do things. Characters that you do expect to do things are actually different characters
Yep.
completely. It's a wild ride the entire time. One bit of poor execution completely tears the whole domino effect of this film down.
Yep. So
This film's A to B to C, but actually immaculate.
Yep.
Like, this is one of the best written
films.
I know sometimes there are people in our audience
That's
that
it.
just like to hear us talk or whatever, but like we're gonna spoil the shit out of it. Please go watch the movie first, dude. When she was actually the assassin, what an effective
when the love
fucking
interest
twist.
was the assassin.
Oh my
Yep.
god, what an effective fucking twist. That's
so
That's
good.
like how you twist, because
Especially-
everything was set up to not do that.
Especially because like I didn't really like that she was like just added in. You know what I'm saying? I
Yep.
was like,
Yep.
come on, really? We're adding a love interest this late? Nope. She mattered. She
She mattered. That's why they
Very
didn't add a love
much
interest.
so.
That's why it made the most sense.
Absolutely incredible.
Mhm.
And I didn't even think about it. I was just like, oh my god, they keep showing us the guy with the gloves.
Yes.
The
Yes.
guy with
Showing
the
us
gloves. They
gloves.
keep showing it to us. And I'm like, who in God's green earth is this person? And I'm like, oh, people are after him. It kind of makes sense. And you think it's the guy after him. They completely pull the rug out from under you. And it's so intelligent.
Because you keep thinking that it's the assassin that Shaw's the big boss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Shaw
Robert
hired-
Shaw.
Robert Shaw, not Robert Shaw, the guy, but the character Shaw hired to kill the guy that ripped off the guy in the opening scene. That you keep thinking that's him, which is actually the person that he's saying that he's not, but actually is. So you're like, oh, it's a triple double cross, but actually it's a quadruple triple cross because it was not an assassin, it was the person stopping the assassin. And you're right, Mo, that makes total sense. That would have sucked if it was just a late game love interest.
Yeah.
Kind of is out of left field and doesn't fit. But now that we have that knowledge, oh man, so fits. Amazing writing, really clever stuff going on here. I do want to say the poker scene is on par with the poker scenes in Casino Royale, the good one. That was previously my favorite poker scenes ever. That and I believe it's called Rounders is the other one I really like. But this one's in that. Now it's a triple, it's a trifecta of great poker
Yeah, the
scenes.
poker scene in this film is immaculately
Says
good.
so much with so little.
Yes.
I gave him 4 threes. I hit him with 4 jacks. And I'm like,
Yep.
oh my god, they're both cheating.
Well,
You
the-
can't call the guy out for cheating when you're cheating.
Yep.
Yeah.
What was I
But I
supposed to
gave
do?
you 4 threes. Huh? You know,
It's
like
that double bluff, and
Mhm.
it's great because like Shaw, the character, knows that Shaw, the actor, he's like, I know you're cheating, so I can cheat with impunity because you can't call me out.
Yep. 100%.
oh man, that poker scene was when I knew the movie was gonna be amazing. I
The-
was already having a good time at that point because like I really enjoy the presentation of this film. I like the color grading quite a bit. It
Oh,
goes
yeah.
from bright, dark, shadows on
Very-
people's faces. Like, you want to know what? Too, I'm just gonna point out. Remember the scene where they're in the FBI office and the shadow is on Detective Snyder's face? It's because he was the only one in the dark about the whole plan.
Oh,
That's fucking cool. That is a
that
clever fucking.
also that poker game with the double bluff is a microcosm for the whole film, and
Yeah.
It
it
is.
foreshadows the actual twist.
It does.
Yep.
It thematically sets up literally what's going to happen plot wise.
Yep.
That's so interesting.
Everything in this film is immaculately foreshadowed. Honestly, like holy smokes.
You can know how the film's gonna end by about, I want to say, 40 to 50 minutes in.
Yup.
Yeah.
That is
You
tough
can
to do.
reasonably call the ending.
It's hard too because you know there's gonna be twists and turns because it's like I almost want to say crime, but also a noir at the same time because you get it from the perspective of the cop too a little bit.
I think it's a crime noir.
I love.
But at the same time, it's like really light and fun.
Yeah.
It's really cool for a movie like this to actually
It's
pull
got
off.
some
Yeah.
good jokes. The soundtrack is very whimsical.
The
Love
soundtrack
that
is very
soundtrack.
whimsical,
It
and I
hits
like
ya.
that.
I felt sometimes it didn't fit. Like we had
Like
a
the
chase
chase scene?
sequence.
Yeah.
There's a chase sequence, and the music's a little too upbeat for it, in my
See,
opinion.
I
I
would
like
have liked
that.
it to be toned down a little bit.
I like that. I like the fact that it contrasts really well. I think for me it worked.
I just feel like the song was too wacky, and what was happening was too serious.
That's fair.
Like he doesn't exactly deploy like wacky getaways. He literally sprints across a rooftop to avoid getting shot in the back.
Yeah.
Right, but I do like that contrast between how silly the soundtrack is and how serious it's happening.
It just gives me that kind of like
Dissonance.
disconnect.
It's
Yeah,
emotional dissonance.
dissonance where
Yeah.
I'm like, this song's very upbeat and whimsy, but Kelly is running for his life.
Yeah, that-
Robert Redford. was-
Kelly's about to get shot in the face.
that worked for me pretty well.
I want to say Robert Redford was fucking awesome.
Yes, he
too.
was.
nailed it.
Yes,
oh
he
my
was.
He
word.
nailed it. Robert Redford was great. Robert Shaw was fantastic.
Yep.
So was
Um,
Paul Newman.
So I was about to say, I almost said Randy Newman. I had to. I was blanking on his first name.
This might be a nuclear hot take, but I think Paul Newman's actually my favorite actor in the film.
That's tough.
Character, I would say Robert Redford's character is incredible, but I do think Newman did a fantastic
Newman,
job.
oh my god, he stole the show in every scene he was in.
Yeah, he was really, really good. Especially the poker scene again. That
Oh, dude,
you
or
got the best scene in the film,
or any
you
of
know?
those scenes where he's running the horse betting,
Yeah,
quote.
yeah.
Oh
Haunts.
my
Incredible.
god,
Yeah, it's really, really good, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I
dude.
really like.
I love the chapters. that
Yes,
this
I was
film
about to
has.
say I hate title cards, and that's like a title card prelude into what's going to
I
happen.
feel like okay.
but
I
I
feel
love
like,
it.
I will say I think this is different than a title card.
You're not
Title
wrong.
card is like Los Angeles present day.
What happens
This
at the
is
beginning of
telling
the
you the It's like reading a book. You know, like you get mad when you turn chapter 3. Oh my fucking god! Like you're not gonna get mad that the book says
No,
chapter 3.
But I
to you.
liked the presentation and the 1930s like film
Design-
vibe that the film is
Yes.
going for.
and like these like really beautiful like drawings and sketches of what you can expect to see in this chapter was really well executed, because there are a lot of films nowadays that do chapters.
Mhm.
And I like films that do chapters, but my problem with them is it's always a black screen and it just says chapter 6, the blank.
You know what film does chapters really well? By doing it in incidents. The house that Jack built.
I knew
That's
it.
the Jack Bell.
I fucking knew it.
Like,
It's incident. How many times were we like more incidents? We were pumped.
even you were pumped. Calm down. Even the other thing I can think of is Bad Times at the El Royale. Even then, it's just stylized graphics.
Yeah.
It's not like give me a drawing, give me a little preview of what we're gonna see, a little morsel.
Yeah.
Like there's one, it's the poker game, and there's a giant fucking train, and I'm like, ooh, I'm in. Where are we going?
It's 'cause
There's
they're
gonna be a
playing poker
train in this
on the
chapter.
train.
That's amazing. Yeah. Or like the Sting has all these horses on it because they're gonna do it at a horse race,
yes,
at a
it's the
fake
horse race. Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Like,
really, really cool.
It's that extra level of detail and care. Like it could have just been a brown screen with chapter 6,
Yep.
the Sting.
Yep.
But no, they took the extra time to be like, hey, draw me some guys on horses. We're
Yep.
gonna put this in the film.
And those drawings are thematically relevant too.
And
not
they-
just,
yeah,
like,
they don't
plot
just-
relevant.
It's not just, oh, this is gonna be in the scene. No, it's thematically relevant to the scene.
Super interesting.
It's so good. I love the way this film sets up.
yeah.
Yep.
It goes from the second the film starts.
Yep.
It hits the ground running. I don't think I've ever seen a film that like I mean, I have probably, but like
I can
it's
think
one
of
of those films that like within the first 2 minutes the characters are established.
Yep.
And like
I-
I'd even argue that the plot's been set up.
More
I
or
can
less.
think of another film that started really, really into it. The French Connection. It started into it in a bad way. I was very confused.
That's true. This film's better French Connection.
Yeah.
It's
for
got a lot of similar
sure.
themes.
Yeah.
It's a lot about deceit and
After finishing the movie, I agree, but
Yeah.
that's because of how fondly I think of this movie. I like the French Connection a lot.
Nah, the French Connection's mid.
French Connection's got a really good section in it.
Yep.
I think
I
French
think
Connection's more than mid.
One of the things in this movie that really gets me very, very genuinely impressed is how the cons are developed and the dynamic of every person having their own role and position. You have Paul Newman's character heading the whole thing, and he's like kind of bossing Hooker around because Hooker told Ganondorf, I don't remember his actual name, I'm so
Gandor.
sorry.
I think you are right. I think it
No,
is-
it's
No,
not.
that's
Ganondorf.
the character from
I think
Legend
his
of
first
Zelda.
name was Kevin.
Sure. And he was telling Gandor about, I want to take over his operation, and you can see him treating him improperly in that setting, and he goes, I understand why he wants to take it over. This guy's a dick. There's the guy who's the fake telegram man. There's the guy who's like, oh man, you got to put your money on, like trying to egg him on a little bit. You know what I mean? Like everybody has their own succinct role. And you even have the guy who glued a beard to his own face
Yep.
to look like a different person.
Mhm.
Like everybody has their own little role, and I really like the dynamic and that we understand what they all do, and like we know the moving parts, and it's really cool to see it in motion because it's still almost seamless.
Mhm. It's spectacular.
It's great because every time you think that Robert Shaw's character, is going to put it together, he doesn't.
Yep.
And it's so good because you just watch these two guys just constantly outclass him at every turn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's supposed to be the big guy, even with the FBI.
Oh,
twist.
the final twist!
The FBI twist. That scene, listen, the poker scene is probably the second best scene in the movie. The best scene in the movie is the FBI, quote, quote, breaking in. Paul Newman shoots Hooker directly in the back because they're like, oh, you can go. You ratted him out. shoots him right in the back. They shoot him. And we're like, oh my God, that's 2 of the main characters getting shot.
Like, we sat up for that. We were like, oh, what a twist.
And he goes, get him out of here. And he's like, my money's in there. He's like, okay, there are 2 bodies in there. We're fucking done. They dupe the cop that's been after Hooker the entire time. They dupe Gondor or Gandor or whatever his name is.
Gandor's Paul Newman. Robert Shaw's character is the one that gets duped.
Yeah, is that not Gandor? I thought
No.
that was him.
No. Shaw is Gandor.
Yeah.
Shaw, as in the character of Shaw and the character of Gandor, are the same person.
Okay, my bad.
Shaw's his cover name for the.
That's who. Okay, my bad.
That's Shaw and Kelly are Gandor and Hooker.
Yeah.
Like, they're going by fake names.
Makes sense.
Then
Makes
Robert Shaw is the Kingpin guy.
Yep.
So the
actor.
mob
So
boss
Paul
of Robert
Newman-
Shaw.
Paul Newman is Gandor.
Yeah. So he's a high-profile guy that they don't know he's a mob boss. Actually, the FBI don't know that. They're like, oh, he's a high-profile guy. You have to get him out of there in case anything bad happens. And he goes, you can't be seen with this because of the press. And he's like, bruh. And it's like, no, it doesn't matter. Just go.
Doyle Lonigan.
There you go. They do say Lonigan. I just completely
It's okay.
mistook that.
Well, it doesn't help that
Shaw and Shaw. Yeah.
that Paul Newman and Robert Redford's characters go by 2 different names. In
Yep.
The film.
And that scene where all of that happens and we don't know.
We don't.
As the audience, we go, holy fucking shit. It doesn't matter. He betrayed him. He's pissed. Oh my goodness. And then they all just get up and it's like, dumbasses. It's so fucking
And
good.
then you find out that the FBI guy was in on it too, and you're like,
yeah, you don't even know
oh
if they're
my
the FBI. either.
God.
You don't know if they're the real FBI. You
Yeah.
don't know if they just hired them to do that or
Yep,
had them
yep.
as part of the crew. Like, it's
Excellent.
immaculate. It's immaculate.
Oh my
They're
God,
all
we-
so smart.
We were watching with 3 other people. All of us paused and were like, no way.
Yep.
Oh my, it brought down the house.
That is an
Hooker.
excellent end twist. Even people in this room, not on this show right now, that weren't paying like half attention, they still were like, holy fucking shit, no way, when that end.
Yeah.
It's like the kind of ending that just hits you.
And I want to say Hooker's not the brains of the operation, but he's fucking smart. Because when he left, he put a piece of paper on his door because he knew
Yep.
people were
Some
after him.
James Bond level shit.
He saw the paper was on the ground, jumped down the staircase.
Yep.
Gone.
Dude, he was nutty with it. He jumps over the railing right as the dude shoots. It was awesome.
Yep. And then he runs down the street, gets on the side of the street sweeper. Perfect evasion.
Oh my God. And then they just move on to the next scene. Like, that wasn't the tightest shit you've just ever
Yup.
witnessed in your
Dude,
life.
I'm just saying, this film plot-wise is like an 11 out of 10.
It's incredible.
It's so smart.
Airtight.
Smart characters, smart film, smart twists. You're not treating your audience stupid because you're giving them the breadcrumbs to keeping them invested. This is what a mystery should be.
And
This is what a film should be.
and this film takes its time.
Yes.
It does.
Even with a 2-hour runtime, it takes its time.
Yep.
I didn't share this with you guys because I didn't want to give any hints of what might happen. Paul Newman's character, Kevin Gondorf, I just looked up his name,
Thank
Shaw.
you.
He does not appear on screen. He does not appear in the film for the first 26 minutes because his character is not necessary for those first 26 minutes because it's all about establishing Hooker.
Yep. Hooker, and what you think is going to be a major supporting character, which is James Earl
Luther.
Jones's dad. And he ends up. That is a super, super
Depressing.
powerful,
Yeah.
incredible way to introduce them. Because I love their relationship. I like how even though they're absolute con men to the whole world,
They're
they
tight.
look out for each other. But it's really tough to think about the inciting incident because those 2 con men got an equal cut of their con. They're basically like the same person going down 2 different paths. Because one is like, okay, great, I'm done, I'm gonna retire.
And one of them's like, I'm going to blow $3,000 on gambling.
They blew it in one gambling thing, and they're fucked up. They're paying counterfeit money to corrupt cops trying to get out of it. But because of his actions, the other one dies. Like, that's so
and then
sad.
The rest of the film is a revenge tale because
Yes.
Kelly did all of this to get even with the mob boss that got Luther.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow, you introduced the character in a really powerful and effective way, made me care before the secondary
And then
main
set up
character
the
comes
rest
on
of the plot.
screen. Set up the rest of the plot in a really powerful way that I buy as an audience member.
Yeah.
You've done so much
This
with
might be-
20 minutes.
It might be the smartest 20 minutes I've ever seen committed to film.
It's
I
so
said,
incredible.
This film hits the ground running. Like, it
reminds
wastes
me-
absolutely no time in establishing Hooker and Luther.
Remember remember
Yeah.
one movie ago when the scene where he's talking to the girlfriend who did her first term as Grover Cleveland.
Yep.
And he's like sharing the story about him doing the tactic, and then he's like, "Oh, that's my family, not me," and that does 17 layers of exposition without you realizing it. And I
Yeah.
went off on that. This is what that does in the first 20 minutes to establish the story.
And you know what the
characters.
thing about that being so smart is too? That's my family, not me, but it turns into him.
That's why I fucking love that scene, bro. Okay, so yeah, Godfather is still better than Mrs. Minor one, but this is fucking great. I fucking love this movie.
And the only little nitpicks that I wish there was a little bit more transition variety.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of
Screen wipes. There is a really, really good screen wipe towards the end of the film, though, where I don't remember her name, but she goes, "Can we let the girls out on the carousel?" And the screen wipes with the carousel.
as it rolls around. It was really good.
Oh man, there's some really good transitions, but there's also some boring ones. That's fine because the plot carries and the characters carry.
This movie does transitions stylistically like 20s movies.
Wipes and circles.
So does
Yeah.
Tom Jones, but that movie's worse for it, and this one's better for it.
Yeah. Well, this film's not British. Derogatory.
Yeah, derogatory. But no, this movie really pulls it off. That Tom Jones should have taken notes. That's why it only won Best Picture.
Retroactively.
Listen, there's British complimentary and British derogatory.
Exactly.
Tom Jones is very much one of those.
Absolutely. We will not clarify which one we already did.
That's derogatory.
Speaking of very British things that are worth pointing out, Couch Door.
Yeah,
There was a couch store.
Fucking couch
Oh
store.
my word! And it looked the exact same. It was literally the Bond couch store, just painted white.
It was the Bond couch store white, and the bartender behind had the white Bond suit on.
Yes, Couch
There's
Door.
more than a couple nods to Bond in this. I feel.
I love
Yep.
it.
Yep.
I absolutely love it. Well,
It's
he's like the
lovely.
spy.
We lost it. We lost it when the couch store appeared.
I pointed. Normally, you guys would have pointed it out. I actually got to see it first.
I'm
I was
tired.
surprised.
I got a few more things I want to note.
Please.
There was one scene where Hooker was walking down the street and his tie was very thick and very short.
He does have a wide tie.
And I just thought, Edith, what the hell was this character choice?
yeah.
And then lastly, towards the beginning of the film, Hooker goes to see his hooker girlfriend who
Yep.
just finished dancing on stage with pasties on.
Funny name. Go on.
And they're talking. And in the background, her like boss is up carnival barking on the stage to the audience.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see him in the background and he's giving a whole speech and his mouth is not moving.
Oh yeah.
He's just standing there and they fucking 80-yarded it.
Yeah, it was
and it's very
80 yard.
funny.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's okay.
Very funny.
I don't care. There's one more incredible positive. This film masters punches in and out.
Yes.
There's really
yeah.
good zoom outs and really good punches.
Very
Something-
creative zooming.
Um,
Yes.
One of my least favorite things in cinema is poorly used punch in, punch
Zack
out.
Snyder.
It's Zack Snyder and Man of Steel will always be my go-to example. I despise it. It takes me right out of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Like whenever I see that happen, it's like a full system reset for me, and I have to like re-engross myself into the movie.
Yeah.
This film didn't happen once with any of the punch-ins or the punch-outs. I was always like, oh, because they were always used to convey important information.
Yeah. This film's a masterclass of important information being conveyed. I really like the scenes. Soundtracks never overpower scenes where we need verbal information from a character. The soundtrack is only in scenes where we only need visual information.
And
they accent it.
aside from the tie, the costumes in this film are on fucking point.
They are a lot of really nice suits.
Oh,
Mhm,
God, I'm a
mhm.
sucker for good suits.
Yep.
A lot of good period accurate suits, nice pinstriping. And you can tell just by looking at them that some of the suits are cheap, some of them are expensive. And, like, it tells the story. Because, like, you'll see, like, when Kelly has to go and pretend to be, like, the sports bet guy, he puts on this really nice suit and then he puts a trench coat over it just to make sure that it's all, like, protected. But then if
Yep.
he's just rolling around, he's in whatever.
Yeah.
And, oh...
Yep. The opening song, which repeats at several points.
It's
Yeah.
like the most old timey
Yes.
Wild West piano.
Well,
Dun,
it's
dun,
like-
dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun.
it's
My-
purposely old timey, and
Yeah.
I love the reincorporation. First of all, it's great then in the opening
Yeah.
scene, in the opening
It is
like
really
titles
good.
and stuff like that. But the way it comes back, not too much, not too little. It's like the perfect amount of soundtrack use, and I love. First of all, I love the song. It's stuck in my head now.
Yeah.
Fuck you, movie, for doing that. I love that song. But on top of that, just the way it was incorporated was really powerful.
That
Really good
song,
stuff.
that song brings a lot of nostalgia back for me because my grandfather used to love to play the piano,
Yeah.
and that's a song that he would play
I will
pretty
be
often.
honest. Ian, when you said that while we were watching the movie, I genuinely thought you were fucking around.
No,
Because it's just such a stereotypical.
No. My grandfather loved to play the piano. Like he'd write his own music and play
That's
and
very
everything
nice.
like that.
And he wrote that song for
And
that movie.
No, but he loved playing that song. That was one of his warm up songs before he'd do his own thing.
Feels like a warm up. Feels like a
Yeah.
nice little intro.
So that song brings a lot of nostalgia for me, and it hit me a little different when I heard the film. I'm like, oh man, that's really cool.
Well, it's good to hear it used in a good movie then.
Yeah,
If this movie had sucked, you'd be like, God damn.
Imagine if that's how Tom Jones opened.
Oh my God. Don't
Grandpa.
even go
Your
there.
grandpa is Tom Jones.
No, but I like how earlier on in the movie, I'm gonna just another point because this film has so much to talk about here. One of the things early on in the movie is we don't really see how they plan the cons very much, and we get inkling after inkling of it during the film. The first con with Luther, we see no planning. The second con with the poker game, we get a little bit of insight, but you never see how he swaps those threes to jacks.
Yep.
You legitimately, you see his hand, you see the mob boss's hand, and he puts down 4 nines, and you're like, fuck, he lost. He has 4 threes, 4 jacks. Huh?
Yep.
We were flabbergasted.
Yep.
And we
the
were just
characters.
like, this movie does a really, really good job of keeping you in the right amount of no so you're surprised.
Not only that, after he gets back to his compartment, we were waiting for him to like pull the threes out of somewhere. He
Never did.
Because it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter where he hit it, doesn't matter how he did it, he did it.
We're supposed to be equally as shocked as the characters who don't know where
And
he
we
got
were.
it.
And in the moment, that's a good example of something where if this film was a lesser film for it, you could absolutely point to it as a plot hole.
Yep. Yep.
Because honestly, it is. He just magics up a whole different set of cards in front of 5 people. But you know what? I don't care.
The
it
movie
was
did
fucking
it.
cool.
Cool. The movie cut away from him several points on purpose so
Yeah.
that he
And-
plausibly could have done that.
And when we see the plans afterwards and how meticulous and well strung out and grand and how many
buy-
people you have,
You
you buy that.
You buy that he could do it because he's shown himself as someone who could do it.
Yep.
He's shown
But-
himself as imperatively competent, so we don't care.
I think that's a good example of suspension of disbelief. And like in a lesser film, it'd be a plot hole.
I honestly don't
I can
think
look
that
at
is,
it and
man.
go, yeah, whatever. That was cool. Next scene. I believe that he did that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's because the characters are so strongly written, and you see him as this not invulnerable, impeccable. All his planning is. I fully believe that in some of those cutaways, because he was holding his cards really close to his chest.
Oh, yes.
You can do something.
Yep.
Like you can make up your own reasons, and it doesn't matter.
Yep.
And that's what I did. I was like, oh, he probably did this, this, or this.
See,
Like, that's
I don't
incredible.
even. I don't even care how
You know?
he did it. You know.
But I know
he
he's
did it.
capable of it, so I don't think
I
of it
believe
as a
it.
plot hole. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, no, I love this movie. I'm going to say 2 things that, once again, sound like they conflict, but they don't. 10 out of 10. It is the 9th best one, which, how great is this fucking series?
We're finally getting around to the good ones.
It's a perfect 10, and it's barely in the top 10 of this show so far. And we're like 45 movies in. That is crazy to me. Like, goddamn.
How many tens do you have?
How many 10s?
Yeah.
I think that might be the last one on the waterfront is a 9. So this is the 9th 10.
Okay.
All About Eve is a 10. I upgraded
I
it,
think
by
I'm
the
going
way.
to give this film a 9. I really liked it. Don't get me wrong.
Why do you hate it?
Shut the fuck up.
How dare you give it a 9?
I just think there were a couple parts in the run up to like the poker game that could have been paced out a little bit better. Other than that, no notes.
No notes.
That's fair. I am also giving it a 10. This is
Yeah!
only my 8th one.
Now let's go.
It's number 5. This film is incredible.
Fuck
this is
yeah,
in my
man.
top 5.
Fuck yeah.
It's in my top 10 as well.
I honestly, I don't know if there's that many movies with a better script than this.
yeah.
we just watched one last week, and that's
Yeah,
so good.
but there's not that many. That's the thing.
I can think of 3
yeah.
off the top of my head,
Yep.
and this is me who hasn't seen all of them.
Mhm.
The Godfather.
Yep.
All About Eve, and Gentleman's Agreement.
Man, I gave All About Eve an 8. So
All About Eve is a 10. It's
All About Eve.
It's
is-
one slot above this.
All About
Barely.
Eve is whatever I gave it.
It's
Yeah,
barely better than this.
I think this movie is an impeccable masterclass of screenwriting.
Yep.
This
Yes.
is the perfect amount of twist. This is the perfect character development. You didn't do anything wrong in the script.
We did not get off to a great start in the 70s with Patton and the French Connection, but it's been pure gas ever since. And I'm
All
looking
gas,
forward,
no breaks, man.
And I'm looking forward to the next 3 films we have, and then Annie Hall, and the next 3 after that.
I'm so looking forward to Annie Hall.
Oh man, I can't wait for the fun facts of Wikipedia page.
Go check out our
It's bad.
Casino
It's terrible.
Royale, the bad one review.
Yes, please go do that.
I'm just saying, it's
Cinema.
a contender. This is cinema. This is a contender. Like, honestly, you can argue, if The Godfather didn't exist, you could argue this might be the best one. Just on screenwriting alone.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Like, if you handed me the script for this, I'd be like,
It is
can
hard.
I buy this? This
It
is mine now.
hard to have picked a better commercial break for the Godfather duology.
Yeah.
It is hard to pick
Honestly.
one. So I'm excited.
Like, this film had me go into every twist and turn. I was like, yo. And I was like, no fucking way. Like,
I think because my expectations were not bad, but like
no, I
very
expected it to
middling.
be all right.
We had audible reactions to that final twist.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good twist.
We had audible reactions to multiple twists. I went, 4 jacks. Like, I was pumped.
Yep.
Like, this movie got me going.
For a different reason, it's also great. Just like The Godfather, which didn't really bring like shock and awe. It's just us sitting and absorbing like statues.
Yeah, it's just masterclass.
Yep.
Uh,
Just
this
pure absorption.
screenwriting, also masterclass.
Yep. Incredible. I'd watch this again in a heartbeat.
Godfather's still the best one. Gigi's still the worst one. But, like, wow, man.
Godfather's still the best one, and Tom Jones is still the worst one.
Godfather, greatest show on earth.
we got a contender here. And that's incredible. Because if The Godfather Part 2 is also a 10,
Oh my
that's
God.
3 in a row.
I think I think the 70s might end up being our best decade.
Potentially.
We got
because it's
Deer
awesome.
Hunter, we got Kramer versus Kramer,
Rocky.
Rocky,
a hero.
Godfather Part 2, and
Annie Hall.
What's the other? No, there's another one.
Patton, the French Connection.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
One Flew Over the Fucking.
That's
That's one of the only 3 films to win the Big 5.
Big 5. I'm so excited.
And I'm just going to throw it out there. That film's a fucking bop. It's so good.
Oh my God, I'm so
So
excited.
we will see you guys next time
Yes,
for
we
the
will.
Godfather Part
Peak
2.
Part 2.
Let's go.
The Godfather Peak 2.
Next episode is Godfather again. Yes.